I mean, the man told me I was gonna be his wife. Talking about finances, it can be uncomfortable, but it is one of the best things that we could have done. And that is something you need to ask your man or your lady. What are your intentions for me? I would be talking to my therapist like, whoo, child, this might just be my husband. I don't know. Be watching, okay? We were very extreme. There are no tricks. At that point, I was done. Enough was enough. You're talking to somebody who was laid off at 6 months pregnant, y'all. It is time that you tell yourself, look in the mirror right now. Go look in the mirror. Tell yourself enough is enough. Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. If you're here for the first time, my name is Shay Nicole and I love creating videos to help elevate your confidence in style and self-care while also dropping gems for my current and aspiring content creators. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get back into this series of girl talk. I started answering questions the last time and I got a little long-winded. I felt like I was going and going, so I had to stop myself and I was like, you know what, let me come back for a part 2. And then I looked at my broadcast channel and saw there's a lot of questions in there. This might just have to be a weekly or bi-weekly thing. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right back into it. And again, if you are here for the first time, if you go over on my Instagram, here's the broadcast channel right here. It is free to join. There's almost 10,000 ladies in there. 10,000 from all over, y'all. We even have people from out of the country, honey. But baby, we are worldwide. So go ahead and join the broadcast channel so you can drop your questions. All right, let's get back into it. All right, picking right back where we left off. This next question comes from Miss I Am Her, and she asks, do you have any advice on long-term, long-distance relationships? Yes, honey, I do. Okay, in case you are new here and you missed my last vlog, go ahead and catch up on that. I did talk about the fact that Jeremiah and I did date long distance before we got engaged, before we got married. Everything started off with a long-distance relationship. And believe it or not, y'all, I was very much against long distance at first. The thought of it was just like, I need to be able to see my man in person. Like, I don't know about this. But I was just so attracted to him, number one. Number two, I loved our conversation. I love the fact that we could talk on the phone for hours and hours and hours. I love the fact that our FaceTime conversations felt like he was sitting in the room right next to me. So it was a no-brainer when he asked me to be his girlfriend. I mean, the man told me I was gonna be his wife very early on in our talking stage, but that's neither here nor there, honey. We ended up getting into a long-distance relationship and we met in person the summer of 2018, and we were long distance from that July all the way through April 2019. And if you include June, the talking stage on the phone, 9 months of pretty much dating exclusively long distance. 9 straight months.
That's a long time.
Well, for me it was a long time because I miss my man. Now that question asks, do I have any advice for a long-term long-distance relationship? So I don't know if I can speak to long-term because we only did it for 9 months and maybe that's not long for you. From the sound of her question, she's probably going on maybe over a year or a couple years.
Now, honey, I don't know if I could do all that.
But I will speak to the 9 months that we spent long distance. In case you're new here, once again, from long distance dating and only seeing each other on FaceTime, and of course we traveled, we saw each other in person, you know, through those 9 months, to moving in together that April and then getting engaged that November. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So from moving in together to 7 months later getting engaged, it did not take that long. But again, I can speak to that 9-month period that we did do the long distance dating thing and what helped us. So number one, when you are dating long distance, communication is essential. And I'm not just talking about, hey, what you doing? What you doing? How was your day? How was your day? No, I'm talking about getting down to the nitty gritty. Our phone conversations used to be like therapy, honey. We were unpacking everything. We were talking about our childhood. We were talking about, you know, our experience as young adults, our dreams, our hopes, everything that we wanted out of life. Honey, we talked through it. And sometimes the conversations would get so deep, I would be talking to my therapist like, whoo, child, this might just be my husband. I don't know. I mean, he says he's serious, but honey, the actions are showing, like the way he is speaking, and also when we are in person, our follow-up conversations, that's what let me know that Jeremiah was very serious. For example, one of the things that we definitely talked about during our long distance period of dating was finances. We went into a deep dive of what type of spending habits do you have? What type of budget you got going on? And that may sound really serious, you know, to be in the beginning stages of talking, but for us, it was serious because we were dating with intention. So to the person that asked me that, and also those of you who are watching right now, when I speak about long distance dating, I'm not talking about just the casual thing where you meet and hook up and you talk on the phone and you go back your separate ways and y'all do your own thing. No, I'm talking about long distance dating in a serious format where you are being intentional about getting down the aisle to marriage, okay? Or some type of long distance partnership where you eventually want to come together and start a life together. That is what I'm speaking about, because that's what Jeremiah and I did. And let me tell you, talking about finances, it can be uncomfortable, but it is one of the best things that we could have done because we set ourselves up for success when we did live together. I think that a lot of times, a big mistake that people make when they're long distance dating, they focus on the fun aspect and, oh, when we get together, we're gonna have fun, and that's all good and dandy. But you also need to think about more serious conversations to see if you're even compatible with being with this person in person. A lot of times when you're long distance dating, you're so caught up in the joy that you have with each other when you get on FaceTime and you get on those calls and when you finally get there in person, but you don't even know about each other's spending habits. You don't even know about each other's childhoods. You don't know about any unhealed trauma they got going on. Honey, these long distance dating conversations need to get deep, okay? I'm here to tell you, you need to unpack it all. We talked about finances. We talked about what our life would look like if we had children, if we decided we didn't want children. We talked about, you know, how our lives shaped us growing up and what type of parent we wanted to be. We talked about, you know, the missing pieces that we didn't get in our own childhood and how we could grow up to pour into our kids the things that we didn't get in our childhood. Like, again, we got very deep. And something else that was very helpful was having conversation cards. So these cards are all over the place. You can get them on Amazon, in your local Target or Walmart, wherever. Pretty much wherever they have like game sections, you can find conversation cards. That's what really helped us dig deep beyond the just surface level questions like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite song? No, conversation cards are a must, honey. A lot of times when you're long distance dating, you get to the point where you get into like a routine, right? Like you go to work, you talk to your boo on your break. After work, you talk to them on the way home. And then you get home and you're gonna eat your dinner and you may be on FaceTime with your man, and then you go to bed and do the whole thing again next day. A lot of times you need something to break up that monotony, and that's where conversation cards come into play. I cannot talk about conversation cards enough, honey. They were a big help in our relationship. And aside from our deep dive talking about finances, doing conversations cards, we also try to do activities together even though we were apart. So let's say one of us found a really good book, we would read it. I mean, obviously not together in the same room, but I would read the chapter, he would read the chapter on our own, and then we would come together and discuss it. Like, well, what did you learn? What did you think about this, etc. And we also did that with shows. He would make a suggestion for a show that we should watch, and we would do a deep dive in, like, what do you think the plot is? Like, we love a good like sci-fi and mystery type show. So we'd be like, okay, who do you think the killer was? Or who do you think did this? Or what is the background on that? Like, we would do a deep dive and unpack these shows, honey. And then we also try to think outside the box. Where like one time I went on this one site, I forgot what it was called, but you can Google it. But it was like a picture book that you can make and you can tell the story of the person or like how y'all met. So I did like a little custom gift and I sent it to him and surprised him with like some of his favorite treats. You know, a lot of times it's not about like the big grand gestures of booking a trip, even though we did that too, honey, but booking trips or, you know, spoiling them, sending them extravagant gifts. Sometimes it's just the small things. Like sometimes he would just send me a random bouquet of flowers. Sometimes I would do like little cute little gifts for him, or send him, you know, like a little gift card, a virtual gift card to his favorite restaurant and tell him, you know, go get some lunch. Like just the small things can go a very long way. And even just little messages letting each other know that you're thinking of each other. Long distance dating, again, is about communication, kind gestures, letting each other know that you're thinking of them and you're here for them, but also being intentional, honey, because let me tell you, the worst thing you can do is date somebody long distance for years and years and years and it never goes anywhere. Honey, eventually one of you has got to make the move, or both of you will have to move into a new city. I'm telling you right now, you need to be intentional. Nobody wants to be in a long distance situationship or relationship forever, honey. Where is this going? And that is something you need to ask your man or your lady. What are your intentions for me? What are we doing here? What is this gonna look like in the future? Because you cannot be long distance forever. And I will say one more thing about long distance dating turning into marriage. Remember when I was talking about how important discussing finances is? Another layer to that is making sure you discuss how you like to live and paying attention to things like when you visit each other. For example, if you know that like you don't like to leave laundry out, or you don't like a messy kitchen, or like as you're cooking, you like to clean as you go, or you clean your bathroom every 5 days, or you don't ever clean your bathroom, you like to have a housekeeper come do it. Like whatever your living style is, make sure you are discussing that. And when you go visit the other person and vice versa, make sure y'all are paying attention. You're having conversations. Thank the Lord, we did not have no problems with this. Like, we just moved in, it was very seamless. But I have friends who have had horror stories about dating somebody long distance, and then when they finally got together, they either lived in the same city or decided to move in together. Honey, it went left and went south real quick. You want to make sure that you are paying attention and not being so caught up in lovey-dovey of it all when you finally get to see them. No, honey, be watching, okay? Observe everything when you are in their presence, even down to the way they eat, the way they clean up, the way they carry themselves in person. It can be a lot different from how they are on FaceTime or on the phone, okay? So again, make sure you are observing and using discernment, honey, because you don't want to waste your time. And fun fact, just in case you're new here, Jeremiah and I only saw each other in person a total of 9 times. And on the 10th time, it was me getting a one-way ticket to move from New York here to Houston, okay? Again, we only saw each other 9 times in person. Now, in those 9 times during our dating, we saw each other once a month, and it was extensive time that we spent together. Like, one of our first times being together, like, we went out the country. Like, we were very extreme. Like, we went out the country about 2 or 3 times before moving in together. And then we met each other's families before moving in together. We spent Thanksgiving and Christmas together. Like, we made sure our time together was very intentional. So even though we only saw each other 9 times, the times that we spent together was like extended time. So I want to preface and say that. But it's such a beautiful love story, because what are the chances that you can spend like this amount of time with someone in person, and then as soon as you move in together, 7 months later, you get engaged, you get married, and live happily ever after? Like, this is how I know our relationship, our marriage is ordained by God. Like, he orchestrated everything. And I love how intentional God is, and he just works everything out for your good and in your favor. But yes, that is my advice for long distance relationship and long distance dating. Make sure that you are being intentional, honey. Make sure you're talking about finances, talking about your childhood, talking about the type of household you were raised in. Y'all's conversation needs to be fruitful. You need to be getting to the nitty-gritty details. Don't spend too much time on these surface level questions, honey. Get to the point and be intentional, okay? All right, our next question comes from Mrs. A. Halls. Hey girl, she said, do you have any tips and tricks on a fitness journey? Listen here, I'm here to tell you there are no tricks, and I barely got tips, honey. You have got to get consistent and get serious. I have been down this road 1,000 times. This is my before and after picture. Let me start by saying this. The picture of me in the black dress, this is me about a year and a half postpartum, okay? And at that point, I was done. Enough was enough. I told myself I can no longer do this. I can no longer be on these yo-yo dieting back and forth. 1 minute I'm fasting, 1 minute I'm juicing, 1 minute I'm trying to give up carbs, next minute I'm trying to experiment with keto. Like, I was doing so many different things and just crash dieting, and 1 minute I'm working out every day, the next minute I decided to give it up and give it to God. Like, I was going back and forth so much. I was tired of it. I was sick of it. A year and a half postpartum, I couldn't take it anymore. And when I saw that picture of me, I didn't even recognize myself. Like, I felt like, am I creeping back up to my birth weight? Like, I was at, I think 207 when I gave birth. I felt myself getting back to that size again. For what? All because I had no discipline, no self-control, and I was an emotional eater. And I'm here to tell you, if you are tired of being in the body that you're in, if you are tired of feeling, just overwhelmed and struggling, and you don't have any energy, you feel very sluggish, you always got a headache, your body's starting to ache, especially for my ladies watching this who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. If you are just tired of being tired, going on this constant roller coaster, it is like a circle. You just keep going and going and going. It is time that you tell yourself, look in the mirror right now. Go look in the mirror. Tell yourself enough is enough. Tell yourself that your life is worth more than just being an emotional eater. Your life is worth more than you cutting it short because you cannot get control of your eating habits. Your life is worth so much more than what you are doing right now. And you have to not only do this for yourself, but do it for your lineage. If you are a parent or plan to be in the future, or if you're not a parent, maybe you have little nieces and nephews, godchildren, or you just have loved ones. You need to do it for yourself and do it for them, okay? If you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for the people that love you. Do it for the people that look up to you. you. Do it for the people that want you here, okay? If you don't want to do it for yourself, that is my biggest tip that I can give you. You have to decide you are no longer going to live this life. And how am I speaking so passionately about this, you may ask? Because again, I was you, I was her. You are me, we are each other. Well, that was my old life. Now, the present day, since I made that decision to change my lifestyle around, I am more active. No, I don't have the perfect dietitian plan. You know, no, I don't eat perfectly, but I make better choices. I try to do substitutions. I try to eat better and eat the things that I really love that aren't good for me. Eat it in moderation. I do my very best to stay active and show up for myself every day, and that is what you need to do. So that is like my TED Talk on that, okay? My little speech. Let me hop off my soapbox and give you some more tangible things that you can try. So number one of the things that helped me to adjust my diet was figuring out my food triggers. And that actually started from my skin problems that I had in my mid to early 20s. So here's a picture on the screen of my before and after when I started going through my hormonal acne journey. And I didn't realize at the time that this was triggered by stress and food, okay? So the things that I was eating when I was younger, honey, I could eat whatever I want at whatever time I want. My body would break it down and I could just keep it moving, okay? I had a fast metabolism and a snatched waist. That was then, honey, this is now. And my skin started to react really bad to things that I could always eat with no problem. Processed sugar, dairy, a lot of carbs, especially breads. There were things that I could not have anymore. And if I had to have them, because you know I really wanted it, I had to have it in moderation. And what I did, which worked wonders for me, was first I did a fast, just to cleanse my body out. And I did a colon cleanse. And that is not the same as a full out colonoscopy. That is different. The colon cleanse, I actually spoke about this in my prior video about my postpartum glow up journey when I talked about weight loss. You can go back and watch that video, scroll back. It wasn't that long ago, it was earlier this year. But I did take a deeper dive on my weight loss journey. I explained a lot of the things I did. But just to quickly give you a summary, I did the fast, I did the colon cleanse, which is like a hydrotherapy for your colon. It flushes you out. And then when I went back to eating solid foods, I started a food diary to write down things that were triggering my skin, triggering my stomach, like my bloating. Anytime I felt very bloated, what did I eat? How much did I eat of it? Like I took this very serious and I did this for about a month. So I would pay attention. If I ate something fried, if I ate, processed sugar, how much of it did I have? On the days where I got a pimple, what did I eat prior to that? On the days where I didn't get a pimple, what did I eat that I actually liked? I took my diet very serious and I paid attention to my body and I listened to my body. My people out there, something called the itis, right? If you don't know what that is, that means you eat a lot, you get tired, you go to sleep, or you start dozing off. That's what we call the itis. I started realizing, at this age, I shouldn't be falling asleep just because I ate a good meal, because that means the meal wasn't that good. There's something called comfort food, and I feel like our community loves it down. I mean, everybody loves comfort food, but there's something about Black folks, child, we love some comfort food, especially if you was raised in the South, honey. Soul food, they call it that for a reason. So I had to reevaluate, what are my comfort foods and what are things that I can learn to substitute? Like, what is something that is literally knocking me out, making me go to sleep? And what is something I can substitute for that? Or can I cut back on proportions? Can I change the moderation that I'm eating? And that is how I went from being very close to 200 pounds to right now I'm at 155. And I have not been in the 150s probably since college, honey. It's been a very long time and I'm very proud of that. I have maintained this weight loss, I want to say early May, late April. So this is major for me because I have never been able to keep the weight off this long. Again, I was so used to crash dieting, doing a really quick fix before my birthday or before a vacation. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Drop it in the comments right now. How many of y'all do a quick fix before your vacation? How many of you all do a real quick, fast or some type of diet you didn't see in a smoothie cleanse or something before your trip or before your birthday? We're all guilty of it, right? And what does that do? That does nothing for us because you're gonna end up going right back to your old habits. Let me tell you, one of the things that I learned is that it can take between 60 to 90 days to start a habit or break a habit. So that's what I did. Number one, I decided to give up Starbucks. I decided to give up coffee altogether, but I started with Starbucks because that was my addiction. My go-to drink of choice back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I literally mean like
early this year.
It was a grande iced white chocolate mocha with 2 extra pumps of white mocha and no whipped cream, double stirred, honey. That was my drink of choice. I can't even tell you how many calories was in that drink. And I can't even tell you how long I stayed bloated for months, for years, just because that was my drink of choice. And sometimes I would have it not once, but twice a day. Isn't that crazy? And it might not be crazy to those of you watching this because I probably have a lot of coffee drinkers watching this right now. And let me say this, For me, I knew I needed to give up Starbucks and eventually give up coffee altogether because I wasn't actually a coffee drinker. I just love the sugar. Like, I just love the milk and the cream that was in it. I had to come to terms with, hey, all that dairy and processed sugar in that drink is breaking you out. And then I thought I was doing something like by giving up dairy. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do almond milk or oat milk in my ice white mocha. But then I would still get all that extra syrup pumped in, all that extra white chocolate pumped in. Honey, my jawline was suffering, okay? My pimples were just, harsh, and it was that deep cystic acne. Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. If you ever dealt with that very deep, hard cystic acne that's like below the surface, that's like basically a pimple that you cannot pop because it's so deep and it's so painful and it's so hard. Honey, I was sick of it. And I told the Lord, I was like, oh my gosh, if you deliver me from coffee, if you deliver me from Starbucks, if you deliver me from all these things that I hate, I promise I will live better. I will do better with my diet. I will take my health serious. And that's exactly what happened, okay? I had to pray on it. And a lot of you may be thinking, well, Shay, what did you substitute coffee for? I decided, and this took a while, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a good month, really 2 months. Again, it takes 60 days to start or break a habit. I decided anytime that I was craving Starbucks, I was gonna grab water. Anytime that I was craving something I had no business having, or something I felt like I couldn't have in moderation, I had no control over, I will grab my water. I decided I need to be addicted to water. I decided that my skin needed to stay hydrated from the inside out. I decided I was no longer gonna be a slave to coffee, to all these snacks and cookies. Child, I had to give it up. Now, mind you, although I did give up coffee, I didn't give up all my treats now.
I still love a good chocolate chip cookie. I still love, to have my little treats every now and then.
But the difference is, I'm not addicted to chocolate chip cookies. I was addicted to Starbucks. I'm not addicted to all my little treats and chips every now and then. I can have that in moderation, no problem. My issue was I needed to give up the things that I was addicted to. And that is what I'm here to tell you. If you are addicted to something, that is a tip that I can give you. If it is something that you know you cannot have in moderation, you know as soon as you get it, you're just gonna want more and more and more. I'm so sorry, honey, you're gonna have to give it up. It just is what it is. There's no way around it. I always joke and make this comparison. I say, is it possible just to have a little bit of crack? Is it possible? No. What is gonna happen? You're gonna become a crackhead. It's not possible just to have crack in moderation. And that was me with Starbucks. Like, I just couldn't have an ice white chocolate mocha every now and then. No, I needed it every day. Just like a fiend, honey. Like, I probably would have sold a TV to get my Starbucks, honey. I needed it. If that is you, if there is something that has you in a chokehold, you're gonna have to just give it up and know that you can live life without it. I know that sounds crazy, especially for my people who love Starbucks or love, whatever treat it is that you can't get enough of. It may be soda, it may be candy. Whatever it is that you have no discipline, like it's just out the window, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to give it up. You have to become self-aware and have a very tough conversation with yourself and realize, okay, what are the things that I know I cannot trust myself to eat? And for me, that was Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. Dare I say it? Dare I say it, y'all? I had to give up Chick-fil-A as well. I know, it's crazy. But I'm the type of person, I couldn't just go to Chick-fil-A and get like a sandwich or the nuggets and have a fruit cup.
What? Absolutely not.
Like if I'm gonna have Chick-fil-A, baby, I want the waffle fries. I want a large. Okay, I also want the milkshake. I want it all. I don't want to have nothing in moderation. I don't want to do no substitutions. What is a substitution? Not at Chick-fil-A. That's how I was. Like, I was so stern about that. And when I wanted it, and nothing was gonna stop me. And I realized this has me in a chokehold. This is an addiction. That's not okay. That's not healthy. And is it really worth it? Like, is my life worth being addicted to Starbucks and Chick-fil-A? Absolutely not. My life is worth more than that. So that is why I decided to give up those two things, because Starbucks and Chick-fil-A were my two vices. Those were two things that I did not know how to have in moderation. That's acknowledging what I have to give up. On the flip side, let's talk about the things that I didn't have to give up because I have self-control. Like, I love chocolate chip cookies. I love chocolate in general. I like cake. I like cupcakes. I like chips. Love me some hot Cheetos. I also love burgers. I love French fries. Love truffle fries. Like, there's a long list of things that I love that I probably don't need to have every day, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay not having truffle fries every day. It's not like Starbucks and Chick-fil-A where I had to have it, Like, I'm okay only having a fat, juicy, good old burger from Five Guys in moderation, because I don't be craving that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want you to sit down and think about tonight. If you are someone struggling with your weight loss, we're gonna talk about fitness in a second, but I wanted to address food because I feel like food is usually the #1 problem. If you are someone that is struggling, you are tired of the way you look, the way you step on the scale, the numbers you see, the way you feel. If you're tired of all of that, start with food. Start with your diet. Sit down, take out a notebook or whatever system you use to put your notes in, write down. Figure out what are the things that you absolutely love, hands down you need, you gotta have it in your diet. And if that's something you can't have in moderation, it's gotta go. Again, I love sweets, like I love ice cream, but I don't want ice cream every day. I can have it in moderation. It can stay on my here list, like here to stay list versus what has to go list, okay? Make those two lists. Anything that you know you have self-control over, you're totally fine. Like you're not gonna be scratching your neck and itching. You're not gonna be fiending like I was with Starbucks and Chick-fil-A. Anything that you can have in moderation, put that on your here list, here to stay list, okay? That's over here. And then on this side, the things that you know you have no discipline in, that has to go, put that on the list of no more. It's gotta go, it's out of here, all right? That is your homework for tonight. Now let's talk about fitness, because I was somebody who was going back and forth trying to figure out, okay, do I want to take a Pilates class, a yoga class, a boxing class? Child, do I want to get a personal trainer? Do I want to work out at a local gym in my neighborhood? Do I want to sign up for like a big gym like LA Fitness or something? Do I want to have somebody come to my house? Like, I done did it all. Anything you can think of with fitness, I tried it. And I failed miserably. And so one day I decided I'm gonna do a challenge for myself. Now, this may be a little bit extreme because most people, the average person, is not a social media like content creator person. But for me, I knew I needed a system to hold myself accountable. So I talked with some of my friends, and I also posted it for my followers over on Instagram. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna do a 30-day challenge for the new year. I kind of missed out with January. I slipped up, so I decided to start it at the end of January and going into the end of February. And this actually happened this year, 2024. And I decided to do a challenge where every day I would just focus on moving my body for at least 30 minutes. That's it. Focus on moving my body for at least 30 minutes a day. That was a challenge, and I didn't put too much pressure on myself. I didn't say, well, I'm gonna lose this amount of weight by this time, this day. I'm gonna be able to lift these weights and get into these clothes. I didn't think about none of that. I just told myself the goal is move your body, okay? Sweat, have your heart rate up for at least 30 minutes a day for 30 days straight. And that's exactly what I did. And remember, y'all, it does take 60 days to start or break a habit. So at the end of those 30 days, I reevaluated what are the things that I actually like to do. Like one of them was a high incline walk. Can't recommend that enough. That's when you put your treadmill, or if you don't have a treadmill, go to the gym or a local gym and find a treadmill. Put it on the highest incline, okay? From there, walk at a speed of 3 for 30 minutes. So I call that the 12 or 15, depending on your highest setting. The 12-3-30 rule or the 15-3-30 rule, okay? And it sounds easy, like, oh, just put the incline up to 12 and just walk for 30 minutes at a speed of 3. It sounds easy, but honey, I'm here to tell you, it's not. It is easier said than done. Trust me, I did it for about 30 days. And some of those days, I wanted to pass out because the way my thighs was burning, honey, the way that incline walk, it's kind of like walking on a Stairmaster, but like not as dramatic, because on a Stairmaster, like you're constantly climbing, but that incline walk is no joke. And sometimes I would put the speed up to like 4, 5, and 6. Whew, child, it will teach you endurance. It will keep your heart rate pumping. Those walks, those power walks, those speed walks was one of the best things I ever did to help with my fitness journey. Once you get into a habit of something, your body will just know what to do. Your body will have endurance. Your body will get used to you working out. So you can work out for 30 days straight or 60 days straight, whatever you want to do. And then after that, you can go into a maybe 3 or 4 times a week. You don't have to do it every day. That is the point of living a healthy and balanced lifestyle. I'm here to tell you, if you were somebody who was going back and forth with crash dieting and yo-yo dieting, and sometimes you're active, sometimes you're not, you are struggling because you haven't made it a true lifestyle. You have to make health and fitness a part of your identity. And it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you're a whole personal trainer now. No, I'm not saying that. But you do need to get some type of routine in where your body automatically knows, okay, she's about to work out or he's about to work out. Your body automatically expects it from you. It needs to become a part of your identity. I'm telling you right now, if you commit to this for 30 days, really 60 days straight, as best as you can, and you don't need a lot of equipment, or you don't need to even be anywhere fancy. You could just be in your living room. There are free workouts that I used to do on YouTube. You can just go outside depending on the weather. There is no excuse. I don't care if you got 20 kids. Eventually them kids got to go to sleep. and you're gonna have to push yourself. And the great thing about working out is that it gives you a boost of energy. That's one thing I was pleasantly surprised about when I started living an active lifestyle in my 30s. I realized, wow, me working out, I'm sleeping better, my body feels better, my joints aren't aching, and I actually have more energy to stay up and to get things done and to work out and be with my kid, because I have a toddler, honey. She be running around. So I need to be able to keep up with her. So again, that is my advice. That was a very long-winded answer, but honey, you can see I'm very passionate about this because again, I come from a past of just not being consistent, always making excuses. And when I decided enough was enough, when I decided that I need to have discipline, this is it, my whole life changed. And again, look at the before and after. You see the material. I'm here to give you my testimony. You too can change your appearance. And again, it's not just about the way you look or about the way your clothes fit. It's also about how you feel. Because living a healthier lifestyle, an active lifestyle, is gonna give you the energy that you are missing out on. Okay, the next question, this will be a quick one. This is from Chinese. Hey girl. She said, can you briefly explain when and when not to disclose in your videos I've partnered with insert brand? Okay, that's super easy. Anytime that you partner with a brand, you have to disclose it, but it depends on what the brand requests. So some brands don't actually want you to say I partner with. They don't mind you just using the paid partnership tool at the top. When you see a paid ad from an influencer, they'll have that at the top. That is a little toggle, like a little button that we have to switch on before we post the content. Normally brands will just ask you to turn that on and keep it moving, but there are some times where I do a campaign and they want me to actually verbally disclose I've partnered with. I would never say that on my own because, I mean, let's be honest, we just don't like ads. Like as consumers, when we're scrolling, 9 times out of 10, we don't give ads a lot of engagement. Sometimes you might stop and watch the ad if it's something you're interested in or if you just really like the creator, but most times you're gonna keep scrolling. So I don't like to say I partner with because, you know, it doesn't come off like an organic piece of content, which will usually get more engagement. But to answer your question, the only time that you would have to say I partner with is if the brand requests you to. And sometimes they'll just say, hey, turn on the paid partnership label, call it a day. Or they will tell you to put ad on the screen, like with a hashtag, or this video is sponsored by. But this information will always be in the brief that you receive when you do a collaboration. And that's basically like a document, a PDF, or some type of Google Doc telling you all the rules and regulations of the campaign you're working. So I hope that answered that. And if you are a content creator or an aspiring one and you are trying to figure out how that works with collaborations, drop your questions below. I'm always in my comments answering questions. And also let me know if you need a little bit more detail on that. I'm happy to do a full-on video, but you can also scroll back because I drop a lot of gems, especially earlier this year. I did a lot of videos specifically for content creators. Okay, our next question comes from Hey Aisha. Hey girl. And she asks, oh, this is a good one. What do you do when you feel the need to pivot? Are there any special exercises or conversations that you have to get clear? Listen to me. I don't know if it's the Sagittarius in me, y'all. I don't know if it's just because I'm extra. I don't know what it is. But one thing about me, baby, I ain't never scared to pivot. And when it comes time to make a change, I look myself in the mirror, I say, self, how bad do you want it? And that's what you need to ask yourself. How bad do you really want it? Because if you really wanted to make this change, I don't care what it is. Is it your relationship? Is it your new job? Is it something with your friends? Something with your money? Whatever it is in your life that you need to pivot from and get on a new path, new journey, how bad do you want it? Because my philosophy is, you're not gonna really move until you're tired. You're not gonna really make that change until you're tired, until you're fed up, until you had enough. And you don't actually wanna get to that point where you are just exhausted of the issue, where you are just like down bad, your last resort, whatever the issue is. This can apply to literally anything in life. You have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And if the answer isn't, I gotta start right now, or I gotta do it today, I gotta do it tomorrow. No, matter of fact, not tomorrow, tonight. If the answer isn't you hopping on your phone or laptop to do some type of research, again, this applies to anything. I don't care. Tell me right now in the comments, what is something that you're struggling with pivoting with? And I can guarantee you this advice applies to anything. You have to ask yourself, how bad do you want the change? How bad do you want those results? And when you start asking yourself that, you really have a real conversation with yourself and get really self-aware, you will see, okay, I clearly don't want it bad enough. And I'm sorry, that's just me. Call me extremist. But I don't like to make excuses. You're talking to somebody who was laid off at 6 months pregnant, y'all. Catch the last vlog. I gave that whole tea. I gave that story. I was laid off at 6 months pregnant. I was devastated, but I had to ask myself, how bad do I want it, okay? Did I want to go back into the workforce? Did I want to start doing all these job interviews with this belly child? I was only going to get bigger. I was only going to be stressed about trying to take maternity leave and go back to a job that I barely knew. Honey, I had to pivot. I had to decide I was going to go full on with entrepreneurship. Was it gonna be hard? Yes. Is it meant to be hard? Absolutely. Because what comes easy, you're not gonna cherish. You're not gonna really appreciate. You have to work hard. So again, this can apply to a new career, saving up for a house, a new car, a vacation, leaving that man, leaving that woman. Listen, you need to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? And are you willing to start now? Are you willing to start making the changes now? Are you willing to do the research now? It doesn't matter what it is. This is a foolproof system that I have. And I guarantee you, if you don't make that pivot, you don't really want it. And there's no excuses, no reasons. You just don't want it bad enough. And that's the tough love that I'm here to tell you that maybe nobody ever told you before. But I ain't gonna lie to you, okay? If I'm lying, I'm flying. And one more note about that before we move on to the next question. When it comes to pivoting from whatever it is, job, finances, relationship, whatever it is, career, anything, do you wanna be in this same position next year? We're about to go into a whole nother year, child. And if you ain't pivoted by now and you have no plans to pivot, whatever you're going through, whatever struggle you are experiencing right now, if you don't pivot or get on the road and the path to pivot, if you don't start doing research right now and start taking action right now, you will be in the exact same place come November 2025. Now ask yourself, are you ready for that? Are you ready for that disappointment? I think not. So baby girl, it's time for you to pivot. Our next question comes from the Real Edwards. Hey, the Real Edwards, how you doing? She asks, how do you and your partner save for trips and the things you want? This is an amazing question. So back in the day, child, it was just vibes. Like, we didn't really have no budget, no strategy. We would just kind of book it and go. Spend the money, get it right back. Spend the money, worry about it later. But now we're a little bit more responsible, and we decided to use our credit cards responsibly. And this is amazing if you can get credit cards that have points, because then you get to damn near travel for free. And this is what we've been doing. Now, we don't travel for free all the time, but what we do is we make sure that we pay our credit card off, hit the statement balance, make sure it's cleared off, and we use our credit card in a smart way so that we can get the points and benefits and like the cash back. So we have our Platinum Amex, we have our Delta card, we have our United Chase card for United flights. We use the appropriate card based on the points and benefits for the airline we're choosing, because again, different cards will go with different airlines. And then if it's something like Amex, then you get points and other benefits like cash back. And then if it's a card like our Amex, you get special incentives when you book with them. Like, you get a concierge that will book your trip for you if you go through your Amex portal, like your member services account. So if you go that route, you'll get discounts on your plane tickets, or maybe if you want to stay at this particular hotel, it's cool, but like that hotel is in the Amex portal and it's at a discounted rate, and they both have, the same amenities, so you go with that one, and then you get automatic room upgrades. A lot of times when we travel, we'll get automatically bumped up to first class because we are platinum members with Amex, or because we also are a silver premier status with United. We try to do travel smart. It is not always us using our own cash, but it's more so a lot of times us using a strategy to take advantage of the benefits that come with these credit cards. Now, I must say, it is also about being responsible, because you cannot have all these different credit cards and you're not paying them off, you carrying a high balance. With you doing all that, not being responsible, it's gonna backfire on you. And then when the member fee rolls around, because a lot of these cards have like sometimes a $300 or $500 member fee. But for us, we travel so much, the benefit outweighs that fee. And we ended up making the money back anyway. And because for us, we're content creators, so the travel is really a part of our content. We can write a lot of stuff off. But back to what I was saying about the cards, be very strategic when you're doing research about these cards. Get a good travel card with benefits. I can't recommend American Express enough, but if your credit score is not good enough to get you an American Express card, you can get a good airline card, like a Delta card, United card. Like, every single airline has its own credit card, and that is going to start helping you reaping the benefits of travel. And it'll also help you to better plan and budget for travel, because some things you can get discounts on, other things you can get free upgrades. And remember, you'll get cash back when you use those credit cards, and you'll sometimes get double the points or, a higher percent cash back than if you just use it at a regular store or on food. So again, do your research. That is pretty much our secret sauce to traveling and really experiencing more luxurious levels of travel. It is because we know how to work the system when it comes to the credit cards. But the key is you gotta pay the cards off, okay? Don't end up in a bunch of credit card debt. That's how we were back in the day. We were not being responsible, and it came back to bite us. Make sure that you are being smart about it, doing your research, and get the cards that will benefit you most with how you travel. Even down to like the travel lounges. Honey, when we travel, we don't just sit in the regular gym pop, okay? We don't sit in regular general population. We like to go into the Delta Lounge or the United Lounge, where you got an open bar and all you can eat food and relaxation. Sometimes there's a shower and there, a nicer bathroom.
Now, I've never taken a shower in the lounge, but it's just there if you need
it. Free Wi-Fi, and you can actually lounge and stretch out your feet, and it's comfortable and it's quiet. It's quiet because sometimes the airport be loud. So again, I hope that helps. We use our credit cards responsibly, and we make sure that we take advantage of all the amazing benefits of being United Chase members and Amex Platinum members and Delta members. Honey, we make sure we do it with strategy and intention. Our next question comes from Naturally Your Braider LLC. Hey girl. And she asks, how did you balance wife, mom, and work in the beginning of your journey? I'm assuming she's saying content journey. And were you wearing all hats, and were you not able to delegate tasks? This is a really good question. So, in case you are new here, I definitely wore all the hats. Baby, I struggled. Like, I didn't get a team, y'all, until this year. And that is insane because I've been making content full time since the end of 2021. So the fact that I am just now learning to delegate, just now learning to offload tasks is just crazy. But it is such the plight of the Black woman, because I feel like we are so used to being the strong Black woman, the stereotypical, we can do it all, we got it all, we are bringing everything to the table, we are the table. Honey, my new motto is, help, I need help. My wrists are broke, honey. I am laid out. Come pick me up. I need help. I don't want to be a strong Black woman. I don't want, listen, hang up the cape, baby. Let's put on a robe, okay? I am not her anymore. And I love that for me. And I love that for y'all. That's what I want for y'all, okay? We don't need to carry everything on our backs. We don't need to be the face of the struggle. We don't need to be the poster child for what it looks like to be strong. We don't need to be that. For what? Why? Ain't no extra jewels on your crown in heaven for not asking for help. Okay, the Lord doesn't want that for you. Okay, He doesn't want that for me. He doesn't want that for us. All right. So moving forward, I had to learn how to outsource. I had to learn how to sit my tail down and say, you need to rest. Okay, rest is productive. It's resetting. It's getting back centered. It's getting back grounded. It's getting some peace. It's getting some sleep. And I had this problem, especially when Gigi was a newborn. I can't tell you the amount of times I would just like literally go to sleep and go to bed and wake up, and like my mind would be going on 1,000 miles per hour, trying to figure out, oh, did I miss something? Did I forget something? This, that. I was all over the place. I felt like I had ADD. It was ridiculous. And I'm telling you right now, whether you are doing content creation or whatever business that you're trying to start, you cannot do it alone. I want you right now to name a Fortune 500 company in this country, name a successful entrepreneur in this country that has done everything by themselves. No team, just vibes. No strategy, just vibes. No support, no help, just vibes. It doesn't exist. And if it does, they're lying to you. Every successful business has a team. They just do. Whether it's a team of 2 people, 3 people, 1,000 people, a successful entrepreneur cannot do it alone. A good entrepreneur knows how to lead, and you have to also lead by service. There's nothing that my team can't do that I can't do and that I won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something I learned from my dad and that I cherish that he taught me. As a pastor, you know, I watched him work tirelessly for his congregation. He poured into them. But that man will also go down to the bathrooms and clean the toilets. Like, he will also scrub the floors if he needed to. If the person that was in charge of custodial duties was not available, they were sick or whatever, my dad didn't mind doing it. And I learned that from him, and I cherish that he taught me that. And he taught me that that doesn't just apply in leadership in his pastoral duties. That applies to everything in life. You have to be a leader by service. You have to set a good example. So I love that now that I have a team. For context, I have a full-time editor for my videos. I have 2 assistants, and then I have a virtual assistant. So my 2 assistants are here in person, and my virtual assistant, she's in Virginia. My editor's in Louisiana. So I talk with my team on a daily, and you know, I pour into them, they pour into me. And there's nothing that my team does that I will not do if I need to. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have to. That's the luxury of it and the privilege of finally having a team and getting to the point where you can pay people. You don't have to do all the work. Now, if times got rough, you know, or somebody got sick, somebody dropped the ball, or somebody's unavailable, I can still do it. I am the brand. Like, everything fell on me before. I don't mind putting on a hat if I have to. You know what I'm saying? But the goal is your brand needs to be able to stay afloat when you are unavailable. And that's something that I'm continuously striving to do even now. If you've been following my journey this year, you know I was traveling back to back, so much to the point where I stopped recording while I was traveling, honey. I was tired. Like, there's still stuff I haven't even showed y'all that I did. Stay tuned, because I'm gonna do like a reflection video of like my favorite moments this year, and I'm gonna show a lot of the trips that I took. But anyway, the point of all of me saying this is that I had to learn how to make sure my brand would continue on if I was not able to post, if I was not able to show up and create, especially when it comes to my LTK page, my Poshmark page. Shameless plug, again, if you're new here, you can shop all of my looks here on LTK. I'm so proud to say that I do not run this page anymore. Praise God, I don't run my LTK, my team does for me. I'm also so proud to say for my Poshmark right here, this is where I sell everything from my personal closet. I don't run this anymore either. I am just here to create. I don't have to post daily on LTK. I don't have to post daily on Poshmark. Why? Because my team does it for me. And I'm so forever thankful for them, because I could not continue this journey as a content creator how I was going. I just couldn't. Eventually I was gonna crash and burn out. And that's why you're seeing a lot of content creators going back into the corporate world. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if your goal is to be a full-time entrepreneur, whether it's content creation or something else, you're gonna have to learn how to outsource and get your budget in control so that you can pay people. I'm so blessed with the opportunities to be able to pay my video editor, because before she was editing for a bunch of different clients. But I worked out something with her, an agreement where she would only work with me, and then she still has 2 other clients that, you know, she's had for a while and she just used to them, they're used to her. She kept like 2 people on the side, but I am like her main focus. She is solely helping me build my brand, and I'm so blessed and just appreciative of her, because she believed in me and I believed in her from day one. But at the same time, I also had to budget for that. I had to make sure it was in the budget to pay her. I had to make sure it was in the budget to pay my assistants and the virtual assistant. And let me tell you, that's not easy. You're gonna have to start making sacrifices. And I know that we all want a supportive village when it comes to our business and our families and, you know, everything we got going on. But honestly, y'all, with today's economy and the inflation of it all, honey, sometimes your village is paid support. Sometimes your village is gonna be a paid team, and that's okay if you are going to budget for it, if you are gonna work for it. And I'm speaking from a place of having a team and this privilege now, but in case you are new here, life was not always like this. Like before, in the past, when I was living in New York, I was working full-time in the school system, okay? Sun up to sundown. I was working in a charter school, honey. We had different type of hours. It wasn't like a regular school day, all right? And then on top of that, I was also a cheerleading coach. So I'm talking about getting to school at 7 in the morning. I don't leave until sometimes 8, almost 9 p.m. at night if we got a game or we have a late practice. Like, I was working, okay? And then I also started selling on Poshmark. I was reselling items. I was going out into stores and shopping and taking on clients. And then also, once upon a time when I was working in the school system, I was also doing Uber Eats on the side. Yes, me. I was doing Uber Eats. I was doing Postmates. I think Postmates has merged under Grubhub or something, but I was doing DoorDash. Like, a lot of people don't know that. Here's a picture right here on the screen of me in between one of my shifts, honey. I am no stranger to the grind. I'm no stranger to the hustle. So I just want to make sure I preface that, because a lot of times you'll see content creators talking about how they have, you know, all these resources and they're getting all this money, they have a staff, but they don't tell you the struggle and the grind behind that. So I'm here to tell you, I don't want to hear no excuses. When people talk about, oh, I can't budget for this, I can't save for that. Sorry, can't relate, because how bad do you really want it? Remember, the girl asked me earlier, what advice do you have on how to pivot? You have to ask yourself, how bad do you really want it? Like, I did not really want to do Uber Eats, but I wanted to get to my greater goal. I didn't want to work 2 jobs and have a side hustle at the same time, which is really 3 jobs, but I knew I had a greater goal. I saw all of this for myself before I actually could physically touch it. And that's the mindset that you have to have. A lot of people want to go get that house or go get that car or go get that new whatever it is, but they're not willing to work for it. And I'm sorry, we can't relate. I am a hustler. I know how to grind, but I'm also now in my season of rest. Like, I'm still working hard, I'm still grinding, but now I have a team to support me. Now I can afford to pay for the village, to pay for the help. We also have a nanny. These are things that my husband and I worked really hard for. And of course, it's easier said than done, right? I can tell you like, yeah, girl, go ahead and grind, go ahead and get you another job, go ahead and do this and that. I understand that I'm speaking from a place of having a supportive husband. I understand I'm speaking from a place of having someone who believes in me, someone who grinded with me. Like, just like I had 2 jobs, my husband had 2 jobs. We are both grinders. Like, we both have so much drive and ambition. And I understand that you may not be in the position where you have a supportive partner, someone who will lift you up. I get that. But at the same time, I have friends that don't have that either, and they're still getting to it. So again, no excuse. I surround myself with people who are serious about their goals and their dreams, and they don't let anything stop them. I don't care if they're a single mom. I don't care if they're going through divorce. I don't care what the situation is. You name it. I have either a friend or a close sorority sister or someone that I know in my life that is going through it. There's almost nothing you can tell me where I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I understand the excuses. No. There is no excuse. How bad do you want it? You have to ask yourself that. So to answer the original question, how did I balance it all back then? I didn't. I did a horrible job at it. And if I could change anything from my past, I would have learned to outsource sooner. Now I have a team. Now I know how to delegate. Now I know how to show up for myself, and I understand if I'm not okay mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, nothing will get accomplished. The whole household will fall apart. People always say that the man is the leader of the house, which in some ways he is, but I believe that the woman has so much power, but we have to know that about ourselves and be confident in it and walk in our power and walk in our light. And we cannot do that if we're not showing up as the best version of ourselves. And we can't do that if we're exhausted, if we're tired. So again, I encourage you, take off that cape, okay? Put on a robe, unless you were in your grind and hustle season, which you know you gotta work to get there. If you are in the season where I used to be, where it's time to grind, it's time to hustle, then don't stop until you get there. Don't stop until you reach your goals. And if you forget, I'll be right here to remind you. All right, y'all, so I have answered several questions already. And can you believe we still have a bunch more to go? I was just going through, there's like still a good 30 questions left, so I'm not gonna get through it. Like I said, this is definitely gonna be a whole series for us. I'm thinking of dropping a new question box probably every couple of weeks, because even with this question box from before, this will probably be a good month worth of videos. So I'm so down for this. Let me know, would you like to see this girl talk once a week, bi-weekly? I'm thinking we have to do it at least bi-weekly, but definitely let me know your thoughts. And once again, if you are new here, make sure you follow me on LTK, download the app. It is so easy to use. This is where I link everything, honey. If you are into the style, into the fashion, go ahead and scan this QR code. Or if you are watching from your phone, not like a laptop, you can just click the link right into the video description box for this vlog. And over here, we have my Poshmark, also linked in the video description. This is where I post everything from my personal closet. Brands tend to send me gifts all the time, and a lot of things I have multiples of I just don't need. Or sometimes I'll have to make content in an outfit and maybe I don't need it anymore. My closet is just getting too full. Honey, I post everything over on Poshmark. So make sure you are following me on both of those apps. And of course, follow me over on Instagram, on TikTok, and definitely subscribe to my channel here. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.